my baby, my Valentine, yeah. Boy, now you done making my temperature rise. If you leave me, I go die, I swear. You are like the oxygen.
My name is Nonema Dikela. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So today I want us to talk about Forensic Laboratory South Africa, South African Forensic Laboratory that is based in Pretoria. That forensic laboratory is under fire because of people that are working there that are not doing their job as they should. Now you would remember that a forensic, there is something that happened over the weekend, right? That could shake the foundation of every major murder trial in South Africa. Not a suspect, not a witness, a forensic expert, a man that is trusted to tell courts the truth about bullets, guns, and death, is now walking into a court as an accused criminal because the things that they do there are very scary. And now we are sitting here wondering about all these big cases that are not solved in South Africa. Every case they touch, because this man, he speaks about Chris Mangena. His name is Lawrence Mugwate. I think if I'm calling it right. On Friday, in a quiet suburb in Pretoria, turned into a crime scene. Investigators didn't come to ask questions; they came to with handcuffs. Mr. Mugwate, a Captain Lawrence, I think, yes, that's the name. A senior SAPS ballistic expert who got arrested. It charges Zake defeating the ends of justice. Please let that sink in. Defeating the ends of justice. It was not misconduct, not negligence. Justice itself was allegedly defeated by him, and the arrest is not one of those random arrests. It comes directly out of a corruption probe that was started by General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi from KZN when he did a all tell, or maybe let's say a mid tell or a drop in the ocean tell, when he spoke about the things that happened behind the scenes when it comes to SAPS entirely. Yes, South African Police Services, everything that is happening there. Now, it comes directly out of that corruption probe that happened there. Now, this situation of this Captain Lawrence is linked to the killing of Ahmad Swart, a man who may have died because he got too close to the truth. And also, you would remember, do you see what SAPS is really dangerous, guys, for South Africa these days? This Ahmad Swart is the same docket that Gininda's team went to request from the investigators. And Gininda's team is known as what? Cold case unit. But now Gininda sent his investigators. I would say he sent because he's the leader, and he sent his team members to go and request that to go and request that docket. And that is very questionable. Hear me out where are these things thinking, because we want to talk about these situations of SAPS. Now, a man whom Ahmad Swart died in April 2022, if I'm not mistaken. Yet in 2024, Gininda was looking, 2024 or 2025, I'm not quite sure, 2024. Yeah, Gininda was already asking for the record as if it's a cold case, but people were busy with it. Now, this matter that started it all is happening 17. Yeah, he died on 17 April 2020. Mr. Swart Lona, he was a father, an engineer, and ambushed in a parking lot, shot 23 times. 23 times he was shot. At first, people wanted to frame it. I'm a police, not people. Police wanted to frame it as hijacking gone wrong, mistaken identity. But the story didn't hold at all because the investigators were like, no, you're not doing that to our investigation. We know exactly what happened, because behind the scenes, Swart had uncovered something dangerous. Exclusive corruption inside Transnet-linked contracts. We are talking 20 rand parts invoiced at 155 rand. 25,000 inflated to over 1.2 million. And then a whistleblower report was filed And then 2 weeks later, Swart was shot and killed 23 times when he arrived with his van at his workplace in, where is that? Vereeniging, if I'm not mistaken. And that was not a random shooting. That was a very serious message to whoever is busy with that investigation, in my view. Now, let's get to the forensic breakdown and tell you why I'm linking all of this together. Now, because this is where everything starts to fall apart. All ballistic evidence from that murder, bullets, firearms, cartridges, were sent to Pretoria Forensic Lab, the same system courts rely on. But then a bullet from the victim's body took 3 months. Did you hear that? 3 months to be registered. 15 spent cartridges allegedly missing from the report. Initial findings, no link between weapons and the murder. That was Lawrence Mukhot. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but Captain Lawrence is the one. But when an independent expert stepped in, boom, 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 things are changing. A definitive match, same guns, same bullets, linked to the crime, not just that crime, and to all other crime, to other crimes across the country. It was over 13 other crimes, murder crimes. And this is exactly why now I say the defense case must question, when it comes to the Senzo Meyiwa case, the evidence that comes out of that forensic, especially with the situation that is happening. They need to dismantle it in court, because how do you trust evidence that that comes off that situation? Imagine 15 cartridges simply disappear from a report, and investigation now is not dealing with the conducted investigation, but constructions of it. That is very huge for any case. That is reasonable doubt being manufactured in real time. So if the Forensic Science of South Africa, Laboratory of South Africa, can manufacture cases like that in real time, then what happens? Now let's escalate this to Senzo Meyiwa case, because we are having the same situation when it comes to the Senzo Meyiwa case. In the Senzo Meyiwa connection, it gets dangerous, because this is not just about one case. This forensic unit is the same ecosystem that handles the evidence in the Senzo Meyiwa murder trial. Inside that unit, and a person that you know very well, which is Chris Mangena, that's the star ballistic witness. You remember he was the star ballistic witness case River Steenkamp, who was shot and killed by her boyfriend. Who's that guy? At the athletic. Oh, I forgot his name now. He's out now. Yes, that guy. Yes. Now, weeks on the stand, Mangena was busy explaining science, defending the lab. But now, a captain working under Mangena, he mentioned his name. Lawrence mentioned Mangena's name. He reports directly to Mangena, is arrested for allegedly manipulating evidence. And no one is saying Mangena is guilty for now. But in court, you don't need proof. You just need uncertainty. Because right now, if this man was reporting Mangena, and Mangena did all those cocaine things in the Senzo Meyiwa case, this comes as questionable in all spheres of questionable. This is big, guys, because if one officer can delay evidence, omit critical findings, produce conflicting reports, then every defense lawyer in this country just got a new weapon. That is why Mnisi, when he deals with the case of accused number 3, must state it. Ukuthi, Mangena, still, they came here and put that. First of all, Mangena took a bag that was open and went and tested. How the hell must it be trusted that it was the same gun? And he had the audacity to put that information there. Statement, he put that in his statement. Now, as that happens, Mangena also needs to be questioned. He needs to, in my view, Mangena's case, when it comes to Senzo Meyiwa case, it needs to be questioned. It needs to be investigated. And other forensic people need to come and do tests. And also, I think maybe even if it's about 3 to 5 beside Mangena, 3 to 5 beside Mangena and team, they need to come and test that firearm and see if it ever matched Senzo Meyiwa's murder. On top of that, we do have a report in that courtroom as evidence that if the so-called firearm of Ncube was linked to the Senzo Meyiwa case, Umasondo, who arrested and was the lead IO of the Cleveland case, did tell the court that if that was the case, I would have known back in 2015. Now, if he says it's not, then something is very wrong there. Something is very, very wrong there, and it needs to be questionable. What are your thoughts when it comes to that? Do you think that Mangena deserves respect after this, especially after what he did with the Senzo Meyiwa case, giving us another gun that was tested, which we didn't even know where it came from? Why was it being tested if it had nothing to do with the crime? All of that, and he was not telling us full information when it comes to that. So now, Mangena, when we hear that someone that reports to you, Captain Lawrence, has been arrested for defeating the ends of justice, that suggests that you did not check his work. You did not check his work, and it can also suggest that this is something that is usual in your line of work, guys. So you need to be thoroughly investigated for the Senzo Meyiwa case because of two reasons. Masondo said if that firearm had anything to do with that, he would have known. And there is also a report, IBIS report, that says that firearm has nothing to do with that. That report is from 2015. And then the third one would be Dave said that firearm did not match. Dave is the forensic expert. Now we have three situations that need Mangena to be questioned. So because of that, I think defense needs to be watching. What are your thoughts? Let's talk in the comment section. I want to hear your views. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
And I need to survive, I'll be honest. Your love